Ellie was born on December 6th, 2015. Beautiful, healthy baby girl. Craig and I were so excited to finally meet her. She was our light, she was happy. 2017 was wonderful. We had almost 2-year-old daughter, had a newborn son, until the last day of 2017, when we found the lump on Ellie's neck. I instantly started panicking. I was trying to figure out, did she run into something? Did she bump into something? Where could this have come from? She hasn't been sick. She hasn't had any fevers. And I went into the bathroom and I cried, and my mom came in and she said, "Racine, we don't know anything yet, don't worry." And I said, "This is not good, Mom." Over the next 4 weeks, we were seeing different doctors. She was having ultrasounds, visiting specialists, until we finally headed for Vancouver on January 30th, 2018.
I'd heard overnight that we'd admitted a little 2-year-old girl who had a rapidly growing mass just below her jaw. The challenge with Ellie's particular situation was that this mass was compressing her airway to such an extent that there was just 3 millimeters left at the smallest part. This made it essential that we call together a big team from all different specialties to be able to safely manage her care while making sure that we maintained her airway. So this was a type of tumor, ended up being called a malignant rhabdoid tumor. It's a kind of cancer that when it happens, more often actually happens in the form of a brain tumor or a kidney tumor. Because of where it was and because of its rarity, we don't have a standard go-to, this is how we treat this tumor approach.
You would think hearing your child has cancer is the worst thing you'll ever hear in your life. But hearing that there's no known treatment to fix her is a nightmare. I don't think I've ever cried so many tears in my life than at that moment.
So I had to go to the literature and see what was known. And in fact, I found papers, there are case series out there, small groups of kids. And if you look, they're all treated with slightly different forms of aggressive chemotherapy. The biggest series I could find from across North America had 26 kids in it, of which only one survived long term.
Dr. Dial researched different solid tumors, and she came to us with a plan. Intense chemotherapy, surgery once the tumor's small enough, and if the resection was not completely successful, then we would need to consider radiation. Being a mother going through that and having to take care of your child and play nurse, it's scary because when you're around your child who's going through something so horrible, you try to tell them that it's gonna be okay, even though you're not 100% sure yourself it's gonna be okay. So there was a lot of times where I would leave the room and I'd cry, or I'd cry in the bathroom, because around her, it was positivity. On September 10th, they said, "You get to go home." So this was the first time in 7.5 months that we got to bring Ellie home. She stayed in Vancouver the whole time. I had a panic attack not even 24 hours after being home, because all of a sudden we weren't fighting anymore. We felt every emotion possible. We were sad, we felt self-pity. We asked ourselves, why Ellie? Why us?
We knew that her prognosis was poor from the get-go, and so we didn't want to wait until things went wrong, until it came back. We wanted to be proactive, and that's the reason why we offered Ellie enrollment into Profile right at the time of diagnosis. Profile is a national research study that provides next generation sequencing. This is now open across the country. We're one of the leaders here in BC. And what it's designed to do is to provide that next layer of information to help us learn more and to potentially guide new treatment changes down the road for these hard to treat cancers. I don't want future oncologists to be in that situation where they're stuck with looking at a case series of 26 kids. I want to see increased research. I want to see clinical trials that are designed for these rare kinds of tumors. And particularly, I want to see results of targeted therapies that are actually designed specifically for the gene changes that we find in those cancer cells. So this work is critical, and really none of it would be possible without donor support. We can't accept the status quo. We know that we're not doing enough for many of these children, and we need to take it to the next level.
So we're almost 3 years post-treatment and there's no evidence of disease so far. And the prognosis of rhabdoid sarcomas are not very good. It's about a 20% survival rate to 5 years post-treatment. So I continually tell myself before we go to her appointments, Ellie's in the 20%. Ellie is the 20%. She is in the 20%.